evening. Good evening, everyone. Forgive me, I just turned my fan on. It is warm in my room today. Not not comfortable, but not horrible. So, with that said, please allow me to introduce myself. I am Michelle with Yes Michelle Crochets. And as you enter the room and enter the chat, do me a favor, of course. Please hit like, but also say hello so that I'll know you're here. We have a lot to cover today, as you saw from the title and thumbnail. Today, we are going to be going over crafting your identity. And I am super stoked to have this conversation tonight. So, I am going to give you all a few moments to gather into the room. I am getting my notes ready so that I make sure that I hit all the important points. You will please forgive me in advance. Good evening, Marty. Good evening. I'm going to let you know right from the top. I am probably not going to be able to focus on the chat as much as I do on our Saturday lives, simply because I got notes and a lot to cover. Good evening, Coley. Welcome in, and thank you guys so much for being here tonight. I know there's a lot going on in the YouTube streets, but I'm exceptionally thrilled to have you guys here tonight. So, like I said, we are crafting your identity, your brand identity. And this is kind of heady, but a lot of fun. And whether you are a current content creator, you're considering becoming a content creator, or you just want to know about brand identity in general. Maybe it implies something related to your work or your life. This is the place to be tonight, because one of the things about me, I love to break things down. So that's what we're going to be breaking down tonight. Like I said, I will be glancing at the chat, but as a rule, I won't be able to focus on it. So give me grace with that. Know that I'm interested in what you have to say, and I will be reading the chat after I'm finished with the live tonight. But I want to get this done in an hour. So let's start with the basics. First of all, as you notice from my thumbnail, you probably can guess what my favorite color is. But this wasn't just an accidental choice. This was a strategic choice in choosing that my brand color would also be in line with my favorite color. And I'll explain more in depth about why pink is such an influential color for me and what it represents. So, I one of the things about me in the away from YouTube life is that I teach. I have a home daycare, so I teach not just the children that I work with, but the families that I work with, all aspects of development. I also had to teach my daughter, as I was a homeschooling mom briefly, and I'm the mom of a child with an intellectual disability. So I had to teach developmental and fundamental activities. I've even taught parents about freezer meals. So when you boil me down to the nuts and bolts of who I am, I'm a teacher. That is my brand identity. Whenever I show up as the authority for what I represent. And essentially, that's what most of us do as content creators. We are not just the face and the voice of our channels, we are our own brands. Maybe you're in the same niche I am, you're in crochet. So you're going to be the authority, the lean in of the search engine that is YouTube for your channel. You are the teacher for your house. You teach people how to do stitches, or maybe you teach people how to access yarn on a deal and a steal. That's my calling. Or maybe you teach people about the different tools and the tips and the trades related to crochet. Maybe you have nothing to do with crochet at all. But nonetheless, you, as the face of your channel, are the brand authority. Maybe you're a faceless channel, but it's the intellectual property that you represent that causes you to be your channel brand. So, if that gives you any heady idea about where we're going, let's ride this wave. Now, The overview of what we'll be covering on tonight's topic is what is brand identity? Why is brand identity important? What are some of the key elements of brand identity? How to craft your brand identity, literally step by step. And then I'll try to do a Q&A. It will be a brief one because I have a lot to cover. So let's start with what is a brand, because that seems like an easy topic to tackle and dive in with. In a nutshell, the brand is beyond the logo. It's not just that when you're scrolling through and you see the little blue circle with the initial, that's not your brand. That's just your logo. In fact, what your brand is, I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I wrote a note that makes no sense to me now. Um, it's the way your visual and intellectual property makes people see, think, and feel and associate related to you, particularly in the YouTube streets, as your channel. For example, there are certain channels like Mr. Beast. When I say Mr. Beast, many of you probably think of the guy who does those funny youth oriented videos. Me, I think of good evening, Mama Winch. I think of the guy who has marketed himself beyond YouTube to be a brand ambassador for nutritional drinks, energy drinks, the energy snacks and things of that association, because I don't personally know him as a YouTube content creator. I know him as someone's products who I've seen in Dollar Tree, quite honestly. So that whole concept of how the brand shows up depends on how the audience receives it and where they receive it from. So think about when you think of your favorite products. Like if I say Nike or Nike, as some people say, you're going to immediately think of that swoosh symbol. Maybe not. Some of you may think of Michael Jordan. Others may think of this is the go to shoe for running or basketball or whatever. But the key of it is at its surface, we all are thinking of the same product. That's your brand. Now, when thinking of your brand, there are certain elements that you have to consider of what is the brand. Hey, Panda, Panda, Panda Pooh. Your brand is going to be your name and your logo, your visual identity, your verbal identity. Of course, content consistency is also going to be an aspect of your brand. And some of the other elements are going to be the style, the sounds that you associate, whether it's your intros and your outros and your musical accompaniment. All of those elements become your brand. Your social media integration. For example, I am I have a TikTok channel. I've been live once because I find that the way things are done over there is so foreign to me compared to YouTube. I haven't yet gotten comfortable with putting my foot in that toe and in that marking and saying, this is my space. Right now, it's not. It's very foreign to me. Many of you who are considering having channels are saying to yourselves, how do I show up in the YouTube algorithm? How do I make my mark on YouTube? And the answer, honestly, is you start. So that's something you need to consider. Let me dive just a little bit deeper on the elements that I just spoke of. Your channel name. Your channel name is also a part of your brand. For example, my channel name is Yes Michelle Crochets. Long before I ever thought I wanted to be on YouTube, I was known as Yes Michelle. Whether it was because I was doing daycare related things, or I was teaching how to do freezer meals, or I was having conversations in the autism community. People associated me with the name Yes Michelle. And it boils down to someone once asked me what my favorite word was. The answer was the word is yes. I love the word yes because you should never say no to me. It's not good. I like Yes, I like people to affirm, agree, and go with what I want. I spoil me, and I like that other people spoil me too. So, therefore, my word is yes. Naturally, add my name to it, and you get yes, Michelle. Now, my logo is not that. I don't have it available for you guys to look at. I apologize. It's a circle with a ball of yarn in the middle and my channel name. That's my logo. My visual identity is changing. When I started out, it was black and gold, which are very strong and stark colors. I'm softening and leaning more into my feminine personality because the core of who I am, I'm a very feminine girl. So my color palette is more in line with me as my identity. As much as the crochet is the front part of my channel, the back ends of my channel, the parts that give me my genuine foundation is that of teaching. Now, no, I don't do tutorials. I'm sorry, Panda. I know you're typing something, but I can't see it. It's better than yesterday, Coley. Thank you. Okay, I missed something and I'm sorry. Babe, I love you. Oh, his back is acting up. Panda, I'm sorry to hear that. Back to the conversation. Um, as I was saying, with the change in my focus from exclusively crochet related activities to broadening my horizons and networking with other new and emerging and rising content creators, I am softening my presentation and my approach and becoming more in line with who I am as a person. These are all things that I highly recommend you consider before you press your play button or start setting up your systems. Because what is happening now is I'm literally turning my channel in front of my audience. And what I've loved is much of my audience has been very supportive as I have grown and tweaked things to be more in line with what I represent and how I show up in these YouTube streets. Topography is just what it sounds like. It's the fonts, it's the visual approach when you're putting out your thumbnails or you're typing out information so that it's seen, whether I'm putting up a sticker in one of my videos or something of that nature. All of those things need to be in line with what my brand should look like. It would be very crazy if I was using uh, fonts that had electric symbols and shock value when I'm not a shocking person. I'm pretty soft spoken. If anything, I get fussed at because you guys sometimes have trouble hearing me because I don't have a very strong or a very loud and booming voice, which I find hilarious because I'm known for being loud. But I'm softening in my approach. Verbal identity. This goes right in line with what I was just saying. The essence of my tone. I have heard from lots of people, especially some of the people who are in the room tonight, that when they think of how I speak, I come off not not bossy or braggadocious, but I definitely come off not very casual. I'm not a casual speaker. I can be relaxed, but I have more of an authority presentation to the way that I speak. It is who I am and who I've always been. I got picked on as a child for having language that was far above most of my peers. It wasn't me trying to be better than, it was just the way I spoke, and it is still the way that I speak. I can't change it, and I honestly don't want to. I think it gives people a sense of reassurance that I know what I'm talking about. Good evening, Melissa. Welcome in, and big hugs to you. Imagery. If you guys think about what you look like in your space on this channel or on your channel more specifically, what you see around you speaks volumes about what people think of you. What's beyond this camera tonight is chaos, but you can't see that. What you see are a few books. You see my symbols, you see my crown, because of course, and you see the things that I'm passionate about. My crochet hooks, of course, in the right color theme. And if Sugar isn't here or is coming, Sugar Diamond will fuss because this needs to be painted. And I haven't had the opportunity to do it, but that is coming. So, again, that's to the evolution thing that I'm working on. Consistency, content consistency, more specifically. For me, this looks like showing a routine and pattern of predictability within my schedule, showing up when I say that I'm going to be here, giving you what I tell you that I'm going to give you. I start all my videos out the same way. I say hello, I let you know who I am, I give you the date because I want you to know what the day is in the event that you're like me and sometimes you forget. The other side of what I do is I literally tell you step by step what to expect in each one of my videos. My lives are different because they go different places at different times. But the videos, the pre recorded videos, all tell you the same thing. I always take a moment to give you a quote of the day in my videos. I also try to remember to have those important and very sensitive conversations with my very special friend. And yes, I share the fact that A, I talk a lot, and B, I'm a terrible eater. Those are my things. I also share that I love a good cup of coffee. So, so there is that. Those types of consistent behaviors and predictabilities let your audience know what to look for when they see you. All of this is aspects of one's brand identity. Now, when I start thinking about my brand identity, some of the things that came up to my consideration and that YouTube considers in consideration is differentiation. If you go to your YouTube search box right now, for those of you who are not familiar with me or don't type my channel name in on a regular basis, if you just type in Yes Michelle, three things are very likely to show up. There's going to be a singer, there's going to be another content creator that's I think in the crochet space. Don't don't forget to give our lady some thumbs up. Thank you. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. She always has our back. Let's get hers. Guys, thank you. Yes, please. I would really appreciate those thumbs up. And thank you for that. But the third thing that shows up is going to be me when you type in Yes, Michelle. I know that because in the beginning, I was the one predominantly having to type in my name, but my search engine got used to me being a consistent content creator. So I'm what shows up when I type in my name, whether I'm in my own channel or I'm in a completely different channel. So that differentiation happens because I'm often what people are searching for when they type in Yes, Michelle. Trust and credibility. When I tell content creators that there's a deal and a steal at Hirschner's, they know that I've done my homework, I've done my research. You guys who've been with me for more than 5 minutes know that whether I'm talking about yarn, I'm talking about hooks, I'm talking about exercises and activities to strengthen the muscles that we use for crochet, or I'm talking about what the algorithm is and how it works, I've done my homework. So you can confidently trust that the words that are coming out of my mouth, I didn't just pull out of the air. I legitimately did my research. You also know that I started my channel back in July of 2024. And let me append that statement. I made the channel in 2023. I put my first video up in 2024. And in this brief amount of time, I've amassed, the last time I checked, 930 something subscribers. I don't know the exact number right now. I haven't looked, and I'm not going to. That's not the focus here. What is the focus is I've amassed these connections with each of you because I've made the relationship by being the face of my channel, by being the personality of my channel, and keeping my focus and my visibility there for you all. You all have connected with my channel and you give me a bit of trust for what I say and I do. Again, it goes to that consistent behavior. I hope I'll be a little arrogant and say I am pretty sure I bring some sense of value, whether you value the crochet aspect of my personality or you value the information that I share related to content creation. You know, like, and trust the things that I say and the way that I present information. So, with that said, I am grateful. But I also know that when I say something, you recognize that again, I haven't just thrown it up against the wall to see if it sticks. I legit am trying it as I say it. The aspects of the things that I bring to you as a content creator, teaching others how to do what I do, it's because I've learned those aspects. Sometimes there are nuances I didn't already know. So I'm literally trying those things out in real time. Now, let's talk about the visual elements associated with brand identity, i.e., your logo. Like I said, my logo has been my logo pretty much since my very first week as a content creator. That part of me, I don't want to change. I'm not going to change. It's always going to be that black background with that gold circle, the words, and that yarn and hook. Those things are the elements of who I am. They are my fun. They are my brand. The color palette. Now, this is where things are changing. Although my logo won't change, my ambiance has. It is in line with my personality. And the reason I chose pink, though I can hear Juan the Yarn Addict screaming, no, that's not my concern. He can do what he wants to on his channel. I love him for being him. But over here, we do it in pink. And let me explain to you what the psychology of pink really is. Pink represents femininity, it represents love, compassion, and calmness. And for those of you who know about my life away from this camera, then you know that my daily life is anything but calm. I literally have a client who screams incessantly. So, having something that represents calmness, who represents femininity, who represents love. Those are really who I am in every venue of my life, whether we're talking about crochet or I'm helping others do the things that they want to do. I do it all with a sense of calmness, femininity, and love. So, the topography of it all. I am still growing in this aspect of me. I'm sorry, Melissa said what? Although I see pink in her thing, I love it. Pink is such a pretty color. It really is. I don't understand people who don't love pink, but I will give them grace because they give me grace. Nonetheless, the fonts that I use associated with my channel, again, I like certain fonts. They are not visually friendly. I like circles and flips and twists and turns related to the beauty of the letters, but that does not read well in a thumbnail. And that's something you might want to consider when you're considering what do I want my words to say on my thumbnail? What do I want my words to say in my logo? How do I want these things to show up? Because at the end of the day, you have but a fraction of a second to grab your audience's attention and to immediately make the association to your channel. So you're going to want to pick things that are quick, easy, fun, and relatable. And if you have a bunch of twists and turns and furls and flips, honestly, it's going to go over the head of your audience, and you don't want to do that. Imagery and visual style. I'm sorry. Panda says, people don't realize that there are metrics that you should follow when using and making thumbnails to make them more effective. Exactly. And I will probably be diving deeper into that very soon. It's a lot more than just taking a pic and putting it up. Exactly. Absolutely the point of why I'm diving deep into this. Yes, Marty agrees with Panda. It is so true. So, some of the non visual elements related to your brand identity is the brand voice. This is the distinct personality. Some people are very jovial and very funny. They have a silly, quirky, but relatable personality that is quite memorable. For me, that's not the type of person I am. I'm silly and I'm quirky and fun at times, but I also have a cadence to the way that I speak. I have a presentation in the way that my voice carries out. And I think for the most part, when I speak a little slower than I do in other circumstances. I slow down my speech intentionally to give you the opportunity to resonate with what I'm saying. Keeping in mind, of course, oftentimes I'm recording before 5 o'clock in the morning, and only parts of me are honestly awake. The other parts of me are on autopilot. That's why when you hear the rustling from the movement of the microphone to the papers in my hand to the clicking of my rings against the camera fob, all of those are things that are systems I've set up so that I can be more present with the information that I'm sharing. I cannot on the fly think of all the things that I need to say in that 15 or 20 minutes span of time that I spend with you talking. Keeping in mind, of course, that I'm not editing that talk from the moment I say, hey, buddy, to the moment that I tell you to have some fun today. That's all one take. So this is my choice to do. Yes, I could edit it, but I don't. Instead, when I want something edited, I lean on Blossom Crochet with Marty. Yes, she does my editing for the things that I do in live settings such as this. She's going to take out all my ums and uhs and silly conversation and make this one cohesive video. So for that, Marty, thank you. And if you guys are new or emerging or long standing content creators and you need some help with editing, she's the person to talk to because that's who I trust. Just my situation, I highly recommend her. So check her out. And the prices aren't too horrible either. In fact, they're rather nice. But talk to her. She can explain that in better detail than I can. Now, one of the things that I did not consider before I turned on my camera and got in front of it were the nuances of YouTube content creation as a business. This is indeed a business. And once I started looking at it as an income generating opportunity and not just as a freedom of expression, but literally started seeing this not just as information I'm putting out, but as a vehicle that could later be a side hustle, if you want to call it that. Then I had to start reapproaching this from a different angle. And one of those angles in looking at it as a business is there are certain foundations for me that business needs to have, such as a mission statement. I didn't have one. My mission was to get up, make my video, have some fun, and move on about my day. If that's your approach and that's the way you want to do it, wonderful. But don't be surprised if this does not blow up into something amazing and financially lucrative for you. Now, please know that you very likely will not get rich doing YouTube. However, it can be some form of financial encouragement and support for you in it if you do this and market it correctly. So, with that in mind, you might want to have a vision statement. My vision statement and my mission statements are both in line for what I do. My mission statement, and I wrote them down because, yes, they're new to me. This is part of what I said when I said I am growing, and let me look for them because, yeah, and bear with me, I have notes. My notes get twisted sometimes. I apologize. Normally, I have all of this stuff in system in order, but we are live and this happens. This is why I hate going live. But nonetheless, I apologize. I don't have that note available because I moved from the living room to here. She said, "What? I'm sorry." Notes upon notes, surrounded by notes. This is truly Michelle. But the essence of my vision and mission statements are in line with me choosing to be the brand representation of all things Yes Michelle, from sharing all about how to do the things that I do on a budget without being ostentatious or being outrageous. The other thing that I do is I want to share who I am in front of and behind the scenes. I give you love and I help you do what you want to do. I don't tell you what to do, I show you what I do and hope that it helps you feel safe enough to do what you want to do. So, those are my mission and vision statements. Essentially, that's not the exact verbiage, but that's good enough for now. So, that's also part of the non-visual element, having a foundation of what you believe in. What are the core things that you represent when you turn your camera on? Literally becomes that vision statement. If I come in here and I'm chaotic and you hear my dog barking and you hear the sirens outside and everything else, what does that convey to you from the audience's personality? Let's be realistic. If I'm not a cop show, you probably don't want to hear all that. So, making decisions about where you film, when you film, what you say, how you show up. One of the things I love, and Marty, I'm going to put you on the spot for a moment, and please forgive me in advance. Marty does a Monday musing, and she does it in her robe with her coffee and her coffee cup, whose name is Wilbur, and that's also her mascot. But she shares with you who she is in its most raw form. I have never been the kind of girl who could be okay with being that raw. But I love that about her. It makes me feel safe to have deep thought conversations with her. I don't necessarily convey that personality. Instead, I come from the angle of who I am as someone who deals with her emotions. So I dig a little deeper and I share with you that I want you to eat and drink your water because those are things I literally have to tell myself to do daily. Because there are plenty of times I'm about to crawl in the bed and I realize I haven't eaten today, especially on Saturdays. So, telling myself what to do when I'm talking to you helps me do what I'm supposed to do. But it also is something that is associated with my channel. People recommend my videos to other people that they know might be dealing with a medical struggle or a mental health struggle because they say, just hearing that I love you makes the difference to them. The other things, tweaks, and intentionally unintentional steps that I take that are brand associated. If you look at my very early videos, I didn't look at the camera simply because I didn't know to look at the camera. I do now. My direct visual connection with the camera makes a direct visual connection with you, my audience. And that's a part of my brand identity. The fact that I talk with my hands, you can almost guarantee I'm going to have a cup close by. This is my water, by the way. We are off the coffee and caffeine because in just a little while, we'll be in the shower and off the bed because, yeah, we have to get up in the morning. But those are aspects of my brand identity that is relatable to other content creators and other people in my audience. Those are concepts that I highly recommend you consider when you're considering, what does my brand look like? What do I represent? The other thing you want to do is create that visual identity. People who think of Yes Michelle Crochets think of this girl who has glasses that always show a bright light. They think of Michelle, the lady who wears her crown, when she's talking about herself in the third person. They think of the color pink, not just because that's what I'm morphing the things that you see for my channel, but because I talk about that color a lot. So those are aspects of the visual identity that make my brand more stand out for other people to consider me as a potential channel to watch. We all have only a certain amount of time to watch YouTube, and the time that we dedicate to it needs to give us something. This is essentially a visual encyclopedia. You can look up anything, you can learn anything, you can do anything. But if you're going to be the face that represents what you're sharing, it should probably be something someone wants to see. So these are elements that you need to consider when you're considering, what does my brand convey? What does my brand tell the audience about me? The other thing you want to do is craft your brand messaging. My brand speaks, of course, about crochet. It's literally in my name. But the other thing that my brand creates is that I am an affirmative voice. Literally, it's in the name. Yes. Yes, Michelle. Because you want to say yes to me. And you're going to remember that weeks and months and years later. Yes. Yes, you want to say yes to her. And you want to come over and you want to subscribe and you want to tickle the bell notification. You hear me say it so often that you smile when I say it. I know you do because I do. It's intentional. Those are aspects of, or elements. She's laughing because she knows it's true. That those are aspects of my personality, especially in the beginning, though I do it less now. When I changed the conversation, you heard me clap my hands. Because if you got lost in the minutia of all my words, this brought you right back to whatever I was talking about. It's that snap, that finger pop, that sound that claps you back into the reality of the moment, because we all get distracted, whether we're crocheting or we're hearing the kids do the things outside, or the dog is moving around, or the cat is playing with our yarn again. Whatever is happening away from this moment can be distracting to us, and we may think we're listening, but we're not. But by me doing certain things just off your view, brought your attention right back to the tone of what was being discussed. So, one of the things I want you, as content creators or emerging content creators, or just as audience people who are considering brand elements and aspects, is I want you to think about other channels who do what you do, other businesses who do what you do. Think about some of the brands that you love. Think about some of the brands you don't like. Yes, I said it. Those are things we need to consider, because for us, our brand is more than our logo and our channel name. It literally isn't just what we say we are or who we say we are, it is what others think of us. How does someone describe your channel, your brand, you, to someone else? Do they say, oh, he or she is super jazzy and has an upbeat personality, high energy, a little crazy, but this is what you get and you can trust that what they say is true? Or do they think, oh my goodness, from the moment the song for their channel starts, I'm ready to grab my remote or scroll on past. When they come on their channel, they're aggressive and they're derogatory and they're negative and everything is a complaint. Do you really want to spend time with them? Are you encouraging others to go someplace where you come away feeling worse than you did before you went? Those are elements to consider about your channel as well, which is why I do a quote of the day. And you'll notice very rarely is that quote negative. Even if I have to say something that isn't kind or isn't loving and encouraging and supportive, I try to balance that statement. Oftentimes, I will apologize for having to go down a dark road with you, but everything can't be sunshine and roses. And at the same time, everything shouldn't be gloom and doom. That's just me. That's this channel and my brand. So, something for you to consider. The other thing that I'm showing you, and I had no intention of showing you this when I first started, is how to evolve. I think one of my first 5 videos was about pivoting, how we sometimes may be on a pathway to do something or to show something or to be something and discover this is all wrong for me. I hate this. I don't want to do this. Do not invest in a decision that's not serving you, that doesn't bring you joy. It doesn't bring you peace. It doesn't bring you love. If it's not the reason you want to get out of the bed in the morning and you don't have to do it, don't. Pivot, change directions. When I was thinking of what I wanted Yes Michelle Crochet's channel to look like, I thought, you'll never hear my voice. I am going to crochet and play music, and I will be everyone's crochet buddy. Has anyone seen me pick up any yarn or a hook today? Well, not counting the earlier video. In this episode, in this conversation, my 10 fingers haven't touched a hook or yarn today. If you can hear it, there is music in the background, but that's to keep my spirit calm because being live gives me anxiety. Just away from your view is an essential oil warmer because I need something to keep me calm. It's my spiciness, my neurodivergence. I've been hammered with life's activity, but I don't want to bring that to the channel. So instead, I do things behind the scenes to set myself up for success to come to you and be able to be calm and relatable and smile. So there's that. I'm sorry, what did you say? Your fingers and your hook are so sad, lonely, and feeling abandoned. They got fed before I came here, just like right over there is my plate because, yes, I ate. I had dinner tonight. But before, when I was making my notes and reviewing what I wanted to talk to you guys about, I was also crocheting. And when the kids napped today, as you all who had the opportunity to see today's video saw, it wasn't a premiere. Well, it wasn't a premiere because, in addition to having a doctor's appointment virtually, I also crocheted. So rather than do all of the things, I did some of the things, knowing that I would get to spend this evening with you. And in 45 minutes, I have hit you all with a lot of information. This is the time that I want to take a step back and open the floor for questions that you all may have. And are there areas of this conversation that you want me to dig deeper into? Or have I kind of explained this in such a way that you got value out of what I've said tonight? And I'll give you guys a chance to comment while I go through some things on this paper. Because if you don't, I have some end notes And then we can shoot out of here early and Michelle can call her child and get herself ready for a shower because it's been a long day, guys. It really has. And I'm going to have a sip of my water. And I love that it's quiet. I know you would think that's a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. That tells me that though I've given you a lot of information, that I hope it's been helpful and beneficial for you to know. Let me summarize tonight's conversation. Some of the major takeaways for this is recognizing the elements of what your brand identity is, understanding that it's more than just that circle logo on the YouTube stream, that you are the representation slash face of your channel, understanding color choices, font choices, the cadence of your voice, the space that you film in, or whatever, are all elements of your brand. And as much, I'm sorry, good evening. Good evening. I'm so glad you were here. Recognize brand identity. Exactly. Um, I'm sorry. I just realized I know you as Nubian, but I don't actually know your name. And forgive me, it's going to take me a minute to learn them, so bear with me. But please, if you're comfortable with me calling you something other than Nubian, share that and I will happily try to work on making that adjustment because I want to recognize you. And for those of you who don't recognize her name, Nubia. Okay, excellent. I love that. Nubia is one of my very dear friends who I've had the opportunity to connect with through a different content creator, Dr. Lisa of Launch Your Income. She is my TikTok instructor and guru, and she's also Nubia's instructor. But just as she's a TikTok person, she's emerging in the YouTube space, and I'm helping her with the aspects of YouTube. So, you all hear me constantly talking about my coaching era and what I'm doing in that circle. This is part of that community. And I am so excited to be able to connect both of those avenues. So, Nubia, welcome to Yes, Michelle Crochet's the content creator component of what I do. She knows me as the moderator for Dr. Lisa. Now, back to the points I wanted to hit home because literally we have just about 10 minutes left. Um, of course, I want to reiterate. Hey, hi, Michael. Good evening. Good evening. Um, I want to remind you the importance of your brand identity speaks volumes for how you show up in the YouTube streets, but how you show up to people away from this camera long after you are no more. Your voice, your brand identity will be associated with YouTube. There have been plenty of times I've looked up things on YouTube for content creators who no longer make content, either because they are no more or simply because they've moved on to something else. But that content still exists unless they have moved their channel and taken it down. It's going to be there forever. So, that aspect of what you're putting out there in this world will continue to have a footprint and continue to represent you. So make smart and strong and wise decisions so that when people think of your brand, your channel, your person, they do so with positive spirit. That aspect, like I said, will long outlive you. And I hope that, at least for me, the brand that I'm developing speaks volumes of who I am. And that when people think of Yes, Michelle Crochets, they think of the way I think of the color pink: feminine, loving, compassionate, and supportive and encouraging. So, that's my talk for tonight. I hope this has been fun for you. I hope you've gotten something out of this. If you have done so and you haven't already, please do me a favor and click that like button. I want to remind you, of course, to eat, to drink your water. Please remember that I love you. And I will see you next time. I am not yet ready to share what we are going to talk about next week. Please be watching my post because I'm going to give you a week synopsis probably on Sunday, if not definitely on Monday. But until then, have some fun today. I'll see you next time. Goodbye, everybody.